What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is Joe. Joe the Great, Joe the Mighty, Joe the Isis. Yes. His opponent today in the blue color, His opponent today in the blue color playing as Oranos. One of the guys that we believe that Joe has played a lot of games against. His name is f46, but we still believe he is Scardy. We still believe he is Scotty. Who knows, though? Who actually knows? I'm interested in these games because we don't actually get to see much super high-level Isis anymore. Generally speaking, well, I mean, Chemo plays high-level Ra. We don't really have any... I mean, Joe kind of plays high-level Set from time to time. We don't really have a super high-level Set player. But kind of Joe does from time to time when he's not playing Ra. But very rarely do we see anyone playing Isis. So I'm excited to see these games. That's why I'm watching him. I know you guys don't necessarily love seeing Egyptian play all the time, but I don't really know why. I think that Egyptians are a really fun civilization to watch. I mean, I love like 16 billion layers of walls with stone wall upgrades, and I love mass migdols and tons of towers and mercenary up the wires. I think it's great. I think it's great for the game. Anyways, we'll see how things are going to go. We do have the map Alfheim, low hunt. We've got a mana coming up already for f46 over here. It looks like he hasn't gone for an economic guild, going for a 355 advance time, no hunting dogs. It's actually... I mean, it's kind of standard in a way when you have low hunt to do this, because you're just kind of gambling that you're having a low hunt map. So, think about it like this. If you've got 2 elk on this map, there is a potential that you've also only going to have 3 deer and 2 really far aurochs you're probably not going to be hunting. That's a potential here if you've only got 2 elks. So getting hunting dogs on that spawn, you can actually really, really hurt yourself. So he's kind of just playing around that. As you can see, that next villager going to come out, chop down this one hit of tree, and then get himself a temple nearly instantly here, I would say. Whoop. Where's the temple at? He's building it over here. I'm surprised he did that. I mean, there's still 68 food here. I guess he probably realizes that it's going to finish up before, so he doesn't want to be running around the villages while he's waiting for the resources to come in. As Joe here, really, really slowly moving along in this game. 11 villagers on this food over here. This is really, really nice. We'll see how things are going to go as the deer is coming in. We do have a chat in a question in the chat, which I actually think is an interesting question. Back on ESO, and I'm talking like 2006-ish era, when I believe Spoeft was one of the top players there, Isis was considered the strongest god way back then. And this was on patch 1.03. The reason why Isis was the strongest god then wasn't because of balance patch. It wasn't because something was super strong. Yes, you had super strong mercenary. Yes, you had super strong ancestors eclipse. Yes, you had all these other broken things. But there's other gods that were really broken there as well. Like you had Zeus, who had 5-second jump speed. Bellerophon had a ridiculously strong restoration, had a ridiculously ridiculously efficient Forge of Olympus. It cost 60 favor, but it just was so bonkers strong. You had all of these things, and that's not the only god that was like really busted back then. Also Oranos and also Set, also Ra. All these gods were really strong back then. But the reason why Isis was so absurdly broken back then was because players did not know how to defend against Isis. They didn't realize a swath of weaknesses that Isis had back then. So they would just end up losing their games and just complain about balance instead of trying to get better. Way later in ESO's lifespan, Isis actually stopped getting played so much. Kind of. Still played fairly regularly. Still like considered a strong god, but was getting played less and less. And then, obviously, the nerfs hit, and then Isis just kind of stopped seeing play. As we see Bars coming through here for Joe, and we see the hero oracles coming in, going to attempt to deny this town center, but I highly doubt that Joe's going to be going for a town center here on this map. We'll see how things are going to go. I would be surprised to see anything other than pre-siege here. But we'll see how it's going to go. We've got f46 now. He's got himself the double double counter barracks. You got to be a little bit careful going double counter barracks here against ISIS, because if you go mass Terma, you're going to get greeted with mass priest, and mass Terma lose to mass priest pretty heavily. There's the monument to the villagers coming up there. House coming down. Armory over here going to be coming up. I mean, just to continue the story just a little bit, all you got to do is remember back to when like AOM King was playing, and he was playing nothing but Zeus, and he would literally wipe the floor with every single ISIS player because he was just playing at such a high level. Like there was, this might be vanilla talk, but vanilla and Titans didn't really have that much difference in terms of the Zeus versus ISIS matchup, but AOM King could literally take anyone out back then, and that's just because his level was so high. So there's just it wasn't that anyone was busted or anything. Like certain gods were way above other gods. Now in balance, gods are much closer to each other. So now the wooden wall going to be going down. We see Joe here getting his armory down, going to finish up on these chickens. He does have some villagers on wood here. Now, one of the most important things when you're playing in this sort of a situation as ISIS is to get out husbandry. I would have really liked to see Joe get like 2 villagers on wood while he was going to the classical age to get out husbandry as fast as he can, to get the speedier gather rate on these cows. Hopefully he gets it immediately here when he gets that wood in, but we'll see how things are going to go. The other problem here for Joe is he didn't really wall this off too well. Terma can come in and cause some problems here for Joe coming forward, so we'll see how that's going to go as more Terma, as the Terma are going to start coming in here. The locate, actually maybe they can't. These towers are in a fairly nice position, so they're going to be able to shoot these Terma nicely. So we'll see how he's going to go. As the watchtower here, hanging out, doing some good damage. See if he's going to be able to hold on over here. You just said there's 6 villagers on this gold mine. I feel like even if Joe is going to go for a priest siege, he's going to have a really tough time getting gold out of this gold mine during prosperity, because those Terma are just going to sit on that pretty heavily here. We'll see what f46's plan is. Normally you see a second town center coming up in these situations. With a back town center like that, it can be really good to grab that town center, but we'll see how things are going to go. He still doesn't have a economic guild or anything, just pumping out units. There's the next mana. Still no barracks coming down. Just mass Terma for the time being here, as Joe is just about to go up to the next age here. He's going to get that economy coming in. A little bit of a late advance time as well from Joe. 7:30, 8:30 advance time. There's the prosperity coming in, as those Terma are going to continue to get some good damage done onto this location over here. As the Promethean over here going to be getting taken out. We just see the Sphinx coming in very brave on this location there, as the Terma going to turn around and get a whole bunch of damage done. Probably going to snipe that one down as it does fall there. Nice play. Bit of a distraction though to get the villagers gathering this gold mine over here. As the priest going to start taking out the Promethean offspring on this location over here. We see the villagers retreating back, more villagers getting taken down over here as well, as they're going to pull back onto this location. We'll see how things are going to go. No second temple up just yet for Joe. Things are looking a little bit scary. I'm not sure what his plan is in this game, as f46 is, I mean, getting his second town center up. One thing that you can do really nicely with Oranos against the ISIS pre-siege is get Catapulti out, actually. If you get Catapulti out, then, well, you can defeat those siege towers really easily. You just see another temple coming up. The village is going to be retreating away from here. He's got himself only 700 or 800 gold here. That's only 8 priests, or maybe one more priest than that. As you just see the pharaoh coming over here to empower this temple up, because he doesn't have the favor just yet to get himself his upgrade. It costs 25 favor, I believe, to get yourself Spirit of Mart. He's gonna have to wait for that, as his monument was up so late. Gonna move over here and start empowering the monument to the village. This is not how you want to see a priest siege attack happening here, as the house over here does get taken down. Now starting to see some priests getting trained nonetheless out for Joe. Does he get a market thrown down? No market here to trade resources here, as the Terma moving around here, as f46 here is slowly throwing more military buildings down, getting an armory up, getting to the heroic age here. If f46 can, is going to be absolutely huge, because it means he can start getting Contarius out, which absolutely decimate the priest siege of the ISIS player. As the siege works, looks like it's going to get denied here as well. This is hurting Joe so much in this game. As you can see, f46 moving around here, doing some very, very nasty maneuvers here, as the gold villagers trying to mine this gold mine as best as they can. Would have liked to see the wall get thrown back up here again, as the Terma going to sneak in onto this position, going to snipe down one of the... Nice micro there from Joe. Garrison micro there. The Pharaoh going to be retreating back here. Villagers sitting idly by right now, as the Terma going to continue pushing in and out of this location here. We've only got ourselves a handful of priests here thus far, as f46, he's still not able to get to the next age here. He's still pumping units. Yes, he is going to be making some Millo here, but he's not going to that next age. I actually think they're potentially cutting villages here and just going heroic age here through Thayer, or through basically whatever you want. Hyperion is absolutely the play here. You don't need that many more villages here. You just need next age. And if you have to throw farms down to get there, it's going to be a really, really tough time. As more military buildings coming up, the Terma moving forward here. Priest Pharaoh now out. The siege towers can start going out for Joe as well. He's got 600 wood in the bank here. He could take all those villages off of wood now. He doesn't need any more than 3 siege towers, in all honesty, with this fight, and move over onto the gold mine and start thinking about getting the second town center, getting the Migdol stronghold, moving away from everything here. As the Pharaoh here is starting to get taken down. We did see that Scorpion Man getting a little bit of damage there, but I think the Terma actually dodged that special, which is something that wasn't... Is it a ranged attack? No, it's a melee attack. I'm surprised. I don't think you can dodge it, but it looked like it kind of was. As we do see the Scorpion Men pushing through onto this position over here, as the Scorpion Men going to be retreating back. We do see a couple of dead Terma there as well. As do we see that Mythic Age, Heroic Age, I should say, coming through? Not just yet. f46 he's actually, I mean, he's making his life just a little bit challenging here, because his Terma, they're trying to get some damage done. This priest is slowly pushing across the map here. Joe's sitting at 77 of 110 population here. Does he even have pickaxe? He doesn't even have pickaxe in just yet, as he's now going to be moving forward. He's got all of the units here in his army, and we'll see how things are going to work. As we do see a little bit of damage coming in, as the range coming through. That Scorpion Man is tanking so much, allowing those priests to get so much good damage there. Coming in as Joe pushes forward very, very nicely, very slowly, methodically. We do see the Terma coming in onto this position as the villagers have moved forward here. One thing that you really need to make sure you do when you go for the priest siege is to wall around your secondary gold mine. Otherwise, the Terma are going to be able to raid you here, as he does find 10 villagers moving over onto this location. But there's still plenty of villagers over here. Another thing Joe could do is drop some more temples down or something on the forward here to get some reinforcements coming in, as the Murmillo pushing across the map. The siege tower is pushing in over here as well. As Shockwave does come down onto this location over here, the village is going to get stunned there a little bit, as the Terma get some good damage done onto these villagers. They're retreating back home. Murmillo pushing through here as well, as the villagers going to be moving forward onto this location, going to take this gold mine for themselves, as the army all going to be nice and close. So I actually like that play, but for some reason he's moving back onto this gold mine over here. If he grabs this one here, he's going to be right next to his units over here. As we do see Answers Eclipse going to get dropped down now onto this position, as the army gets pulled back. The Terma over here getting pushed back by one Scorpion Man there, with that Eclipse coming in is absolutely huge. We do see some hero units getting created there, though, to deal with that Scorpion Man, as the siege tower is slowly going to start cleaning up all of these buildings over here. f46 still not going to that heroic age just yet, as Joe is getting so much value out of his priest siege in on this location. The Answers Eclipse chasing around those units. They're trying to take down citizens as best as he can. It's absolutely vital that Joe picks off a handful of citizen here, because f46 has been sitting on 2 town centers for so long here that his economy is absolutely gigantic. Meanwhile, we see these two minions have actually found some more villagers over here. Going to get some villager kills over there as the villagers here are starting to get attacked. If Joe's going to pay attention here, he can just turn around and start targeting those with his sneaky shanks. As Joe now moving his siege towers in. There's 4 villagers sitting in onto this location. The priests here can just surround the siege towers. 5 citizens coming in, going to start shanking down these towers. They get taken down so absurdly fast as now the siege towers have to pull back here. Not able to get all too much damage done here as F46 is going to continue putting pressure onto this gold mine over here, not actually deciding to take those priests on in the slightest here, as the Scorpion Men going to take those Murmillo out decently. We see the siege towers hanging back over here as we got the Murmillo getting cleaned up on this location there as well. Villagers getting cleaned up over here, as well as the Terma going to take out a Scorpion Man on this position. We've got the 5 priests doing everything that they can here to hold on. Just a couple of walls here would have been all that Joe really needs, but he's just taking his time thus far. F46 is hurting, but he hasn't really, I mean, maybe he lost 2 citizen grand total in that Ancestors Eclipse attack, and F46 should be able to find his way back in, but look at that Scorpion Man just doing so much work here for Joe in this game. He's only got the 1 monument as well, so he's making some getting absolute value out of that one there. As we do see the siege towers moving in onto this military barracks, and we do see the military barracks coming down over here as the Murmillo getting cleaned up on this location as well. More Murmillo coming out over here as they're trying to find a place to attack, but there's just so much DPS coming. We've got so many Murmillo here. Does he have any upgrades on them? Yes, he's got himself Pierce Armor, but honestly, Pierce Armor doesn't really do that much. The priests are probably already doing next to 1 damage per second. It's just that the DPS just comes in relatively quickly, or you have just so many units attacking here. As Joey still hasn't moved away from this priest siege, which is, I mean, it's working out for him, but you do have to move away from it at some point here. Because we've got more military barracks coming out. Got so many military buildings here for F46. 115 population here. We're seeing the military barracks coming down. The units swinging back in onto this position as we're now starting to see the military barracks and the Migdol stronghold coming down here. As the villagers are going to be retreating away as the army is just absurdly big. And now the priests are actually having to move back. They're so slow here to get back and help defend this location, as F46 doing so much damage to this economy of Joe. Joe's got very, very few villagers remaining, in all honesty, as the siege towers coming through here. So these siege towers pulling back at this point. Migdol stronghold doing what it needs to do. These villagers retreating back. It's like it's a very tense moment here, because Joe's army doesn't actually beat the Atlantean army in the end of the day. Like, he's going to have so much more economy than him that every single trade, while these priests only cost like 70 gold, it's going to end up being favored by the Atlantean play here, by F46. We do have a handful of siege towers coming out here to help out in this fight, but you have to target down those melee units near immediately. And now we're going to start seeing some chariot archers coming through, but chariot archers, they're not actually the best against Atlantean unless you're Ra, because they've only got 5.0 speed, which means that if your opponent actually micros the Terma a little bit, you can snipe those down fairly easily. As the army over here for F46 just hanging in the back, we do have the handful of priest pharaoh waiting over here to deal with this, but as the units move in, Joe just moving back ever so slightly here. Gonna start getting some damage thrown down onto that location there, as we are seeing. What is this farm? Is this not the most ballsy farm you've ever seen in your life? What are you doing here? a little bit of a shockwave finally coming in here for F46 to try and prevent those chariot archers from doing all too much. As Joe's trying to get some garrison micro there into the siege tower, but the army for F46 is going to be swinging in onto this location, surrounding all of those priests there, taking them down so nicely. F46 has played this one impeccably well thus far, but Joe is set up now, kind of. He's got himself his Migdol, he's got himself his gold mining, he's stuck getting his towns, and he's getting his economy together. This game might not quite be over here, just depending on what Joe decides he wants to go for here. He's still producing as many units as he possibly can, but his army is just, simply put, not going to be able to win against the Atlantean army anytime for any. Essentially, he's not going to win until he has more economy, because he needs more production, he needs more upgrades, he needs some higher unit quality than the priests. But f46 not able to push in just yet. He's getting himself that third town center up while this is all going on. 7 villages on food here. He's got himself some decent upgrades there with hand axe, pickaxe, and plow. As f46 moving back across the map. Joe here finally throwing up some walls here. Finally throwing up some walls as the priest over here is going to get picked off. The army is still looking fairly scary in that bulk there. As f46 searching around, there is this location over here that's a little bit weak. Handful of farms up for Joe as well. We'll see what his plan is here. 28 villages on gold. Does he even have pickaxe yet? This is this classic Joe. This is Joe in his final form. No, wait, does he not have plow either? Yeah, no plow, no pickaxe, no care in the world. He's also missing houses. Yes, he should have an extra house here. He's got this relic, the Eye of Horus, which makes it seem like he's sitting there. There he goes. 120 population off of one town center with fortified town centers, without fortified town centers. It's absolutely bonkers when ISIS gets that relic. I totally missed it. As the army's sitting here, we do see the army retreating in over onto this position. But look at this. The thing is here that he's got so many military barracks here that he can just spam units. And, well, actually, he can't just spam units. Thought he would have much more economy going than this. He needs to get full population now. He's got the 145 population. That farm going to go down. Oh, it's funny. Of course you're going to kill that farm. Why wouldn't you? As f46 just going to wait so much here. He's 135, 145 population. Still throwing away some units while this is all going on. If he gets the full pop and then gets a surround on this army, he's easily going to be able to clean it up. There's really not... I mean, there is actually a lot of military here, but he's going to be able to win that fight most likely. As Joe's starting to throw down some more farms here. 3 town centers to 1 town center here. Very, very difficult position to be in. This town center over here now going to start getting targeted. We do have some citizen. They're going to have to retreat over here to deal with this as the siege tower is pulling back. We've got the Murmillo coming in to try and take these down here as best as they can. Those turning here, still not microing onto those chariot archers. You could very easily snipe nearly every single one of those off. If you've got... Actually, if we move over to f46's perspective here, it's got 11 terma. If you split these up here and you just kill off these ones here, I kind of misclicked, and then click over here, then you can like snipe them down so very, very quickly. This unit's still searching around looking for some gold villagers to kill this gold mine. Still got a little bit of gold left in it. At how much gold does it have? It's 0 actually. 0 gold left in it. As Joe's still finding good trades in this game somehow, some way. f46's town center now under attack. 90 HP left on that siege tower though, so we'll see if it's going to be able to actually take the town center down in the end. As the Terma swinging around onto this gold mine, going to be preventing that one from going up. There's also villagers over here grabbing a town center, going to grab this gold mine. One wall over here would be absolutely beautiful to secure that location there. As the villagers on this location still continuing to go down, f46, while he's not trading well militarily, he is keeping Joe's economy incredibly low here. If we actually take a quick look at the economic graph, you'll see it's such a huge, gigantic difference. 33,000 to 20,000, basically 14,000 resource difference at the 21-minute mark, which is absolutely gigantic here. As f46 here is ready to start engaging this army yet again. There's another Scorpion Man going to come out, continuing to make things just a little bit difficult here for Joe. As Joe moves through, he sees that the town center is up, so he knows this gold mine's going to be open for raids. f46 now pushing through. Big shockwaves coming in as the army going to be pushing in onto this location. The priests here doing some good damage here yet again as those Terma here. 14 Terma. It's so vitally important to just micro this. Micro those Terma onto chariot archers. If you don't, then that Egyptian army might feel like it's impossible to push. As the Scorpion Man does manage to retreat away and stay alive here as the army running straight underneath that town center. As Joe is just somehow alive still in this game. I can't believe that Joe is making this work thus far. But the question is, will he be able to make it work for long enough? is the end question. We still don't see the Pierce armor, the next Pierce armor upgrade coming in. F46 has got so much gold in the bank here. Just take these villagers off of this gold line here for the time being. Chuck them over onto wood, build some more farms, and then put them back onto gold when you need it. Is like, Atlantean is the easiest god to fix your economy with. As the army push them through here yet again. This term is still trying to prevent the gold villagers from grabbing this. Joe at the moment, he's only got himself 11 villagers on gold here. He doesn't have a market either, so he can't really do a whole lot. He's just trying to keep his army bunched up like a Protoss army and just trying to say, you can't approach me here. But here's the thing, the longer this goes on, the closer F46 is gonna be getting, surely gonna be getting to that heroic age, and the closer he's gonna have access to Contarius, which completely changed the landscape of this fight. But we'll see how it's all gonna go, as F46 still sort of hanging back here. See the citizen over here gonna take down these siege towers relatively quickly. Scorpion Man coming in, going to get some good damage done here as well. As the siege towers doesn't want to let them get away with too much HP here. As some hero term are going to get created onto this location. The Scorpion Man gets retreated there as soon as the hero term come in over here. More units falling. F46 still staying very healthy at 140 of 145 population. I genuinely think that if he just continues ramming his head into this army, he's probably going to win this fight, but he's not going for it. The other thing he could do is just go Hyperion on here and use Chaos to hit that Scorpion Man, find some advantage where that's concerned. But now he's just going to move around, hit those villagers on this location over here. Joe's now starting to climb up on the villagers, but we do see a 4th town center coming up for F46 as this is all going on, as Joe definitely cannot afford to get that here. And F46 is just going to say, that's my town center, thank you very much. As now the Terma swinging around here. We've got these walls coming up over here for Joe. Just a little bit late here as the village is going to be retreating away. Joe really not wanting to lose too many villages here in this game. Though he will be losing that one as it didn't quite decide to retreat there for himself. As is F46 going next stage? Yes, he is, but he's deciding to go through Thea here. I don't mind the Thea, because Thea gives you access to Poseidon's Secret, which is going to boost his Contarius just that little bit more, and he can easily transition into mass Contarius here, get Poseidon's Secret, and then just completely sweep through this Joe army. If you look at the score is so huge, and the reason it's so huge is because look at that kill to loss. It's nearly double, but in terms of economy, it's just not even close. And F46 knows this. He knows that he's not this far behind. He knows that the game is incredibly close right now. As the army swinging back around here, F46 gets himself this town center up. The army here slowly starting to get taken out. Those Mermilla are going to be able to clean up those pesky axemen at the start. The hero Mermilla coming in onto the back. They're going to be sniping down that Scorpion Man over there as it's trying to retreat away. We see a Migdol Stronghold coming up on this position. F46 here is at 154 of 160 population. There's the heroic age coming in. We will see a Stymphalian bird, or not Stymphalian bird, well, Stymphalian birds will be coming in, but the Hesperid's tree will be coming in here as all the villagers over on this location get cleaned up here. There's the Hesperid's tree. We aren't seeing the, well, we're just seeing Mermilla getting produced here. Literally 11 villagers on food, 11 villagers on gold. That's it here for F46. He doesn't need any wood anymore, he says. He just says nothing but food, nothing but gold. I think one villager on wood wouldn't have gone astray here to get himself irrigation eventually, but this is absolutely hilarious, that economic distribution that he's gone for here, as the Migdol Stronghold is going to be going down. Joe says, I don't really care here at the moment. He's not going to be giving up just yet. He's got a little bit of holding on to do here in this game. Simply put, he is Egyptian, and Egyptian can win from a 2-town center to 4-town center perspective if you have a full economy and the will to live. Those are very, very important. As F46 now decides to pull back now that those axemen are coming out, do we see F46 making a move away from those Contarius here? If we take a look, is he getting any sort of, well, there's medium infantry, it looks like, or heavy infantry, so he's not going for that. We do see some walls coming up now as the villager's going to be swinging around here. He's not going to get these walls up fast enough, it seems. So that's going to be a little bit of pain there for him as the as the Dryad's going to swing in here, going to try and take down that Migdal stronghold. As Joe's swinging around the top side of the map here, we do see the villagers on this location getting pulled back, a market coming up, and we will have to see f46 pulling back here to try and defend this as this location gets taken down. The wall's going to come out. Joe's not paying attention over here, so these villagers might find themselves a little bit stuck behind this wall here, but with that military barracks coming down, we'll see if things are going to go well for him or not, as more Heavy Murmillo swinging in onto this position. But we do need to see some sort of movement away from these Murmillo, as those axemen are starting to get very, very scary here, as the army pulling back over here to start trying to deal with this. But Joe, I'm not sure he's got the economy to reproduce this army yet again. If he's going to delete, if he's going to get this army deleted, and he's trying to take the town center down, we'll see if he's going to be able to do so. But the Murmillo are going to target those down first here. See how that's going to go, as the town center getting awfully close to getting picked off. Villagers coming in here to try and repair this one back up, but it looks like it may simply just go down. Joe's army still sitting very, very healthily here, as the Scorpion Man going to be able to start continuing to take down that town center. Town center barely stays alive at 100 HP, as Joe's army gets barely stopped there. Town center stays alive. F46 sitting at 114 of 160 population. Very, very low population here for some reason. Moving forward here, he's dealt with that nicely. Joe's, though, sitting at, what is he sitting at? Is it 130? 105 population. So both players hurting after that fight here, trying to rebuild that army as best as they can. As Joe is going to be pulling back here as best as he can. We'll see how things are going to go, though, as this location over here is going to start getting targeted down. The wall's getting killed off over here as well, as the siege towers pulling back into the main base for Joe. Joe here still very low on the economy here. If we take a look at the villagers here, he's got plow now, but still no pickaxe. Still economy incredibly weak. 43 villagers on gold here. If you had pickaxe, it would be the equivalent of having like maybe 50 villagers on gold at this point, because you get the carry capacity plus the 10%. So I think it's an effective gather increase of something like 12.5% or something like that. Is that right? I think I'm thinking of a different pickaxe, but still very, very much worth it. As the army now coming through, 16.67% apparently. So even more than I thought. There you go. As the laborers here starting to get, is that right? That doesn't seem right. We'll have to check it after the game. As the Pharaoh over here going to get cleaned up, and Joe will decide in that moment that he is too far behind, realizing that his score is only this high because he has taken so many good fights here. But what f46 did so well here, which you really got to know, is that he managed to trade his army, not necessarily for other army units, but for villagers. And when your opponent is on one town center, every villager you kill is worth so much more. And f46 knew that, and he played it so well. I think if Joe had simply just walled this up on this gold mine, chucked a Migdal down much, much earlier, it would have been a completely different game here. Joe probably would have been able to get 3 town centers, or get an economy going, and get to the Mythic Age or Osiris, and have a really, really good game here. But I think Joe just kind of, with this gold mine being a little bit difficult to defend, this wall here not really being the best, maybe a wall over here would have been a little bit more of a safer gold mine, because the tower here would have been able to help a little bit. Maybe throwing up another tower here could have been worth it as well for Joe to secure that a little bit easier. But he didn't go for any of those things, and made it very, very difficult for himself in this game. As for that pickaxe upgrade not getting grabbed, to let you know exactly what the effective gather rate for an Egyptian pickaxe is, we will have to go into the old table and check it out. So pickaxe is an effective upgrade. Yes, it is 16.67% increase from the base. If you get shaft mine, though, it goes up to 40% from the base. So those two upgrades are so vitally important for Egyptian players to get. If you don't get them, you're really hitting yourself in the foot. And I do implore you to work out to research which upgrades are the best upgrades for you to get. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.